Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're going to be reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, verse number 199 onwards. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhate girim yat kripatamam bande shri gurum dhintarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Hari Om Tats. Verse 199. Satyam dishati arthitam arthito nrinam naivarth do yat punar arthita yatah swayam vidhate bhajatam anichchatam ichcha pidhanam nijpad pallavam. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so, but he does not award anything which, after being enjoyed, will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engages in the Lord's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet, where one will forget all other desires. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 5.19.27. Verse 200. Atma Shabde Swabhav Kahe Tate Ye Rame Ātmārāma Jivayata Sthavar Jangame. Another meaning of the word Atma is one's characteristic nature. Whoever enjoys his particular type of nature is called Ātmārāma. Therefore, all living entities, be they moving or non-moving, are also called Ātmārāma. Verse 201. Jivere Swabhav Krishna Das Abhiman Dehe Atma Jnane Achadita Se Jnana. The original nature of every living entity is to consider himself the eternal servant of Krishna, but under the influence of Maya he thinks himself to be the body, and thus his original consciousness is covered. Verse 202. Cha Shabde Eva Api Shabda Samuchaye Ātmārāma Eva Hena Shri Krishna Bhajaye. In that case, by the word cha, the word eva is meant. The word api can be taken in the sense of aggregation. Thus, the verse would be read Ātmārāma eva, that is, even all kinds of living beings worship Krishna. Purport: it is here mentioned that every living entity is Ātmārāma, temporarily covered by the influence of Maya. The living entity serves his senses, which are represented as Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. In the material condition, all living entities are engaged in sense gratification, but when they associate with devotees who follow the regulative principles, they become purified and awaken to their original consciousness. They then attempt to satisfy the senses of Lord Krishna and engage in his devotional service. Verse 203. E jivas sanakadi sab muni jana nirgrantha murkh neech sthavar pashu gana. Living entities, including great personalities like the four Kumars, and also low-class foolish people, trees, plants, birds, and beasts. Verse 204. Vyasa Shuka Sanakadira Prasiddha Bhajana Niragrantha Stavaradira Shuna Vivarana. The devotional service of Vyasa, Shuka, and the four Kumars has already been well celebrated. Now, let me explain how immovable living entities like trees and plants engage in the Lord's devotional service. Verse 205. Krishna Kripadi Hetu Haite Sabar Uday Krishna Guna Krishna Hena Tanhare Bhajaya. Everyone is eligible to receive Krishna's mercy, including Vyasadeva, the four Kumars, Shukadev Goswami, low-born creatures, trees, plants, and beasts. By Krishna's mercy, they are elevated and engaged in his service. Purport: this is confirmed in the Bhagavad-Gita 9.32, wherein the Lord says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye api syuhe papa yonayah striyo vaishyas tatha shudras te api yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, that is the merchants, Shudras, that is the workers, can attain the supreme destination. Everyone is eligible to become Krishna's devotee. One simply has to be trained according to the approved process. It is the work of Krishna's confidential devotees to turn everyone into a Krishna Bhakt. Confidential devotees do not take up everyone to Krishna consciousness, then who will do it? Those who claim to be devotees but do not engage in Krishna's service to elevate all living creatures to Krishna consciousness are to be considered Kanishtadhikaris service. When one rises to devotional service, his business is to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Those who are active in Krishna consciousness movement should not remain in the neophyte stage, but should rise to the platform of preachers, the second platform of devotional service. Devotional service is so enchanting that even the first-class devotees, the Uttamadhikaris, also come down to the second platform to preach and render service to the Lord for the benefit of the whole world. Verse 206. Dhanyayam adya dharani trina virodhas tvat pad sprisho druma lataha karja bhima rishtaha natyo adreha khaga rigaha sadaya avalokair gopyo antarena bhujayor api yat spriha shri. This land of Vrindavan, that is Brajbhumi, is glorified today because your lotus feet have touched her earth and grass, your fingernails have touched her trees and creepers, and your merciful eyes have glanced upon her rivers, hills, birds, and beasts. The gopis have been embraced by your arms, and even the goddess of fortune desires this. Now all of these are glorified. Purport: this verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.15.8, was spoken by Lord Krishna to Sri Balram. Verse 207. Ga gopakair anu vanam nayatur udar venu swaneh kalapades tanu bhrishtu sakhaya aspandanam gatimatam pulakas tarunam niryog pashakrita lakshanayor vichitram. My dear friend Krishna and Balram are passing through the forest leading their cows with their cowherd boyfriends. They both carry ropes with which at the time of milking they bind the rear legs of the cows. When they play on their flutes, all moving living entities are stunned and non-moving living entities experience ecstatic jubilation by their sweet music. All these things are certainly very wonderful. Purport: this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.21.19. As Krishna wandered in the forest with Baldev and two of them wonderfully played their flutes, all the gopis became very attracted. Thus they praised the Lord's activities, describing how he was enthusing all the plants, birds, hills, water, everything. Verse 208. Vanalatas tarava atmani vishnum vyanjayantya iva pushpa Phaladhyah pranata bhara vitapa madhudharaha prema hrishta tanavo vavarush sama. The plants, creepers, and trees were full of fruits and flowers due to the ecstatic love of Krishna. Indeed, being so full, they were bowing down. They were inspired by such deep love for Krishna that they were constantly pouring showers of honey. In this way, the gopis saw all the forests of Vrindavan. Purport: this verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.35.9. For an explanation, see Madhya Lila, 8th chapter, verse number 276. Verse 209. Kirat Hunandhara Pulinda Pakash Abhira Shumbha Yavanaha Khashadhyah Ye Anye Chapapa Yat Upashriyash Shrayaha Shuddhyanti Tasmai Prabhavishvane Vishnave Namaha. Kirats, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pakashas, Abhiras, Shumbhas, Yavans, and members of the Khash Kshak races and even the others who are addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Verse 210. Aage tere arth karilun ar chaya ye unvimshati arth haila mili e dui. I have already spoken about the 13 meanings of the Ātmārāma verse. Now there are 6 more combined. These make 19. Purport: the further 6 meanings of the verse are based on the following meaning of the verse. Ātmārāma. First is the mental speculators. Second are those engaged in different types of endeavor. Third are those who are patient and sober. Fourth, those who are intelligent and learned scholars. Fifth, those who are intelligent but illiterate and foolish. Sixth are those who are conscious of the eternal servitorship to Krishna. Verse 211. Ei unisha arth karilu आगे शुन आर आत्मा शब्दे देह कहे चारी अर्थतार. I have already explained 19 different meanings. Now please hear the further meanings. The word Atma also refers to the body, and this can be taken in 4 ways. The 4 divisions of meanings of the word Deha or the body are: first is the Upadika Brahmadeha, the material body considered as Brahman with designation. Second is Karmanishta Yajnikera Karmadeha, the body engaged in ritualistic ceremony of the Vedas, Vedic injunctions. Third is the Tapodehi Deha, the body engaged in austerities and penances. And fourth is the Sarvakam Deha, the body engaged for the satisfaction of all kinds of material desires. Verse 212. Deharami dehe bhaje dehopati brahma satsange seha kare krishnera bhajan. One in the bodily conception worships his own body as Brahman, but when he comes in contact with a devotee, he gives up this mistaken idea and engages himself in the devotional service of Lord Krishna. Verse 203. Udaram upasate ya rishi vartamasu kurpa drishah parisara paddhatim hridayam arunayo daharam tata udgad ananta tavdham shirah paramam punar iha yat sametya na padanti kritanta mukhe. Those who follow the path of great saintly mystic yogis take to the yogic gymnastic processes and begin worshipping from their abdomen, where it is said that Brahman is located. Such people are called Shar Karaksha, which means that they situated lost the line here. Okay, following the path, they observe the activities of the. I'll read that. It is said that Brahman is located. Such people are called Shakaraksha, which means that they are situated in the gross bodily conception. There are also followers of Rishi known as Aruna. Following his path, they observe the activities of the arteries, thus they gradually rise to the heart where subtle Brahman Paramatma is situated. They then worship him, O unlimited Ananta. Better than these persons are the mystic yogis who worship you from the top of the head, beginning with the abdomen and proceeding through the heart. They reach the top of the head and pass through the Better than those persons are the mystic yogis who worship from the top of their heads, beginning with abdomen and proceeding to the heart. They reach the top of the head and pass through the Brahma Randhara, the hole at the top of the skull. Thus, these yogis attain the perfectional platform and do not enter the cycle of birth and death again. This is quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.18. Verse 214. Deharami karma nishtha yajnikadi jana satsange karma tyaji karaye bhajan. Those who are in the bodily conception mainly engage in fruitive activity. Those who perform yajnas and ritualistic ceremonies are also considered in the same category. However, when such persons come in contact with the pure devotee, they give up their fruitive activity and fully engage in the service of the Lord. Verse 250. Karmani asmin anashvase dhum ratmanam bhavan apayati govinda pad padma swam madhu. We have just begun performing this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, but due to the many imperfections in our action, we are not certain of its result. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of personality of Godhead Govinda, which you are distributing. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.12 was spoken to Sutta Goswami at a meeting of great sages at Maha. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the purport now. 1.18.12 was spoken to Sutta Goswami at the meeting of great sages of Naimisharanya. The great sages were headed by Shaunak. Sutta Goswami was speaking of the glorious activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the meeting. At that time, all the rishis assembled there neglected to complete the spiritualistic ceremonies because there was no positive assurance of his of the results. All the performers were coated with black ash due to the large amount of smoke coming from the fire. Verse 216. Tapasvi prabriti yata deharami haya sadhu sange tapachadi Shri Krishna bhajaya. The tapasvis, those who undergo severe austerities and penances to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems, are also in the same category. When such persons come in contact those tapasvis who undergo severe austerities and penances to elevate themselves to the higher planetary system are also in the same category. When such persons come in contact with the devotee, they give up all those practices and engage in Lord Krishna's service. Verse 217. Yat pada seva bhiruchis tapasvinam ashesha janmo pachitam malam dhiyah sadyah shinoti anva aham edhati sati yatha padankushtha vinish. The taste for loving service is like the water of the river Ganges, which flows from the feet of Lord Krishna. Every day, taste diminishes the results of sinful activities acquired over a period of many births by those who perform austerities. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.21.31. Verse 218. Deharami sarva kama sab Ātmārāma Krishna kripaya Krishna bhaje chadi sab kam. As long as one labors under the bodily conceptions, he must fulfill volumes and volumes of material desires. Thus a person is called Ātmārāma. When such a Ātmārāma is favored by the mercy of Krishna, he gives up his so-called self-satisfaction and engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Verse 219. Sthana bhilashi tapasi sthito aham tvam praptvan dev munindra guhyam kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam swamin kritartho asmi varam na yache. When he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruv Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I found a most valuable jewel. Therefore I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you." Purport: this verse is from Hari Bhakti Subodhaya 7.28. Verse 220. Echari artha saha haila tisha artha arateen artha shuna parama samarth. In addition to the 19 meanings of the verse mentioned previously, there are these 4 other further meanings where the word Ātmārāma is taken to mean those laboring under the bodily conception. This brings the total to 23. Now here another 3 meanings which are very suitable. Purport: the 3 further meanings of the verse are understood when the word cha is taken to mean in due course, the word cha is taken to mean eva, and the word api to mean censor, and third, the word nirgranth is taken to mean one who is very poor without money. Verse 221. Cha shabde samucche ar arthakaya Ātmārāmascha munayascha krishnere bhajaya. As mentioned above, the word cha can be used to mean aggregate. According to this meaning, all the Ātmārāmas and munis engage in Krishna's service. Beside aggregate, there is another meaning of the word cha. Verse 222. Niragranthaha hena iha api nirdharane Ramascha Krishnascha yatha viharaye vane. The word niragrantha can be used as an adjective, and api can be used in the sense of certainty. For instance, Ramascha Krishnascha means that both Rama and Krishna enjoy walking in the forest. Purport: because it is said that both Rama and Krishna enjoy wandering in the forest, it is understood that both of them are enjoying their tour within the forest. Verse 223. Cha shabde anvachaye artha kahe ar bato bhiksham atagam chanye yaiche prakar. The word cha can also present a secondary thing to be done at the same time. This way of understanding the word cha is called anvachaye. An example of, O brahmachari, go out to collect alms and at the same time bring in the cows. Verse 224. Krishna manane muni Krishne sarvada bhajaya Ātmārāma api bhaje gaun arthakaya. Saintly persons who are always meditating upon Krishna are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. The Ātmārāmas are also engaged in the Lord's service. That is the indirect import. Purport: the anvachaye meaning of the word cha indicates that between the 2 words compounded by the word cha, one is given more importance and the other is considered subordinate. For example, O brahmachari, please go out and collect alms at the same time bring in the cows. In this statement, the collection of alms is of first importance and the second business of collecting the cows is subordinate. Similarly, one who always meditates upon Krishna is mainly a devotee of Krishna engaged in his devotional service. Other Ātmāramas are subordinate in devotional service. Verse 225. Cha evarthe munayah eva krishnere bhajaya Ātmārāma api garaha arthakaya. The word cha can also be used to indicate the certainty that only saintly persons are engaged in rendering devotional service to Krishna. In the combination Ātmārāma, api is used in the sense of censor. Verse 226, Nirgrantha hena e dunhar visheshana ar arthashuna yaiche sadhura sangama. The word Nirgrantha can be taken as an adjective modifying Muni and Ātmārāma. There is another meaning which you may hear from me, indicating association with a devotee. Now I shall explain how it is that through the association of devotees, even a Nirgrantha can become a devotee. Verse 227, Nirgrantha shabde kahe tabe vyadh nirdhana sadhu sanghe seha kare Shri Krishna bhajana. The word Nirgrantha, when combined with api used in the sense of certainty, indicates a person who is hunter by profession or who is very poor. Nonetheless, when such a person associates with great saint like Narad, he engages in the Lord Krishna's devotional service. Verse 228, Krishna Ramascha eva haya Krishna manana vyadha hena haya pujya bhagavat uttama. The words Krishna Ramascha refer to one who takes pleasure in thinking of Krishna. Even though such a person may be a hunter, he is still worshipable and is the best of devotees. Verse 229, Ek bhakta vyadhera katha shuna savadhane yaha haite haya satsang mahimar jnane. I shall now narrate the story of how a hunter became a great devotee by the association of such an exalted personality as Narad Muni. From this story one can understand the greatness of association with pure devotees. Verse 230, Ek din Shri Narad dekhi Narayana Triveni snane prayag karila gamana. Once upon a time, the great Saint Narad, after visiting Lord Narayan in the Vaikunthas, went to Prayag to bathe at the confluence of three rivers, the Ganges, Yamuna and Saraswati. Purport: the great Saint Narad is so liberated that he can go to the Vaikuntha planets to see Narayan and then immediately come to this planet in the material world and go to Prayag to bathe in the confluence of three rivers. The word Triveni refers to a confluence of three rivers. This confluence is still visited by many hundreds of thousands of people who go there to bathe, especially during the Magh Mela, which occurs during the month of January. A liberated person who has no material body can go anywhere and everywhere. Therefore, a living entity is called Sarvaga, which indicates that he can go anywhere and everywhere. Presently, scientists are trying to go to the other planets, but due to their material bodies, they are not free to move at will. However, when one is situated in his original spiritual body, he can move anywhere and everywhere without difficulty. Within this material world, there is a place called Siddhalok, whose inhabitants can go from one planet to another without the aid of machine or space rocket. In the material world, every planet has a specific advantage, Vibhuti Bhinna. In the spiritual world, however, all the planets and the inhabitants are composed of spiritual energy. Because there is no material impediments, it is said that everything in the spiritual world is one. Okay, we will continue reading from verse number 231 next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.